In case you didn't know, Canadians love their hockey, and nowhere is that more evident than in the beautiful city of Montreal, where Habs fans go wild and crazy the moment their puck-playing heroes take to the ice. But in the summer months, when hockey goes into hibernation, Montrealers turn to golf, and you can expect that frenzied atmosphere to transfer to Royal Montreal Golf Club this July for the RBC Canadian Open. 7 years ago, the famed track hosted the game's best pros for the President's Cup, and the energy didn't disappoint.
Representing the international team, Mike Weir.
On the final day, it was Canada's favorite son out dueling golf's biggest star, Tiger Woods.
And a huge day for Mike Weir and Canada.
To have that kind of support, being in your home country, was fantastic. It was something I'll never forget.
It was a spectacular celebration back then for the competition, and the same is expected this time around for the National Open. The 2014 edition will be the 10th time the prestigious club has hosted the Canadian Open, and just the 5th time in the last 40 years. Royal Montreal was, however, the site of the first Canadian Open, contested back in 1904. The course is expected to play around 7,200 yards for the players, and once again the closing stretch will likely decide who walks away with the title. 3 long par 4s and a tricky par 3 at the 17th will demand accuracy off the tee as well as some distance to deal with the tricky greens and elevation changes. One player who's excited to head north of the border is the tournament's defending champion. Brandt Snedeker navigated Glen Abbey Golf Club to perfection a year ago, securing a 3-shot win over a quartet of challengers. In the June issue of SCOREGolf magazine, he said of Montreal, "I've heard it's one of the better cities in North America. I obviously watched the President's Cup when it was there. All the players gave great reviews, and I'm looking forward to getting up there." Battling injuries and putting problems for the first half of the 2014 campaign, Snedeker has seemingly rediscovered his mojo, hosting some high finishes beginning with a top 10 at the US Open. He's changed his putter for the first time in 8 years, and will definitely be one to watch at Royal Montreal. One of the challengers Snedeker fended off last year was Dustin Johnson. An offline tee shot on the 71st hole led to a triple bogey and sunk the Long Bombers' chances of winning. But he's been red hot this year, racking up top 10 after top 10 and banking boatloads of cash on a regular basis. He's definitely among the favorites, as is the uber-consistent Matt Kuchar. Enjoying a fine season himself, Kuch can never be counted out of any event. He's got a solid all-around game and piles up FedEx Cup points as well as anyone on the tour. He's already scored the other half of the RBC double in April, winning the RBC Heritage by 1 shot over Luke Donald. Speaking of Donald, the Team RBC star is another contender of Royal Montreal. The Englishman's stellar short game and his pinpoint arsenal keep him in the fold every week despite his lack of length off the tee. The same can be said for fellow Euro star Graham McDowell. The laid-back Northern Irishman is a popular player for Canadians and will be looking to treat his loyal following to a high finish. A high finish is what Hunter Mahan left behind last year when he withdrew after 2 rounds at Glen Abbey. The American was leading after 2 rounds before receiving word from home that his wife had gone into labor with their first child. Forfeiting a chance at capturing the RBC Canadian Open crown, Mahan will no doubt be motivated with unfinished business this time around. Of course, we can't talk about the Canadian Open without mentioning the Canadians. Saskatchewan's Graham Dillette continues to inch closer and closer to his first win, while Mike Weir, Stephen Ames, David Hearn, and Brad Fritsch will also lead the red and white representatives into action. Each of the 5, along with a gaggle of younger players, will look to break the 60-year drought since a Canadian won our National Open. That mark belongs, of course, to Pat Fletcher, who hoisted the trophy in 1954. Serving as the head professional at Royal Montreal for 19 years, perhaps there's no better site for a Canadian to rekindle some of Fletcher's magic. In a city that's witnessed so many legends already, it's only fitting.